coming down the pipe tonight. The Hawks of Portland are flying, just not on this show. And will a Russian win the CHL Player of the Year award for the first time in 7 years? We're just Jaskin. Dmitry Jaskin. No Mr. 100 on our show tonight. In our draft spotlight, we're featuring Mitch Wheaton from the Kelowna Rockets. We originally planned to speak with Nic Petan of the Portland Winterhawks. Hit the century mark over the weekend. But the Portland Winterhawks said no thanks because of they feel we misreported the facts back in November. They didn't like the way we handled the story, and we should say we broke the story. So, maybe they were hoping that this wouldn't get as much coverage as it did, but it did. So it's their team. It's their right. They're allowed to allow their players wherever they want to go. It's unfortunate, and, I've heard back from a number of different people across the WHL who feel the same way, that it's unfortunate for Nic Petan, because he's the innocent kid in all this, that all we wanted to do was showcase him. They decided it's not, they weren't going to give him to us. That's fine. It doesn't hurt us that much because there are lots of players. Who I think it hurts is the kid, because there's not a lot of prospect-focused radio shows out there that get listened to by scouts and people across the country. Yeah,
but like you said, it's up to them, and they felt that, what they said basically was, we might be able to make them available. Are you going to, also have a retraction of your statements from before? Now, this was, again, you broke the story. It was before the league came out and announced that they were officially investigating the Winterhawks, and we were told that there were some players who there was academic things that they were getting some benefits on the side, and the Winterhawks asked us to retract those statements, and
we won't.
We stand by the sources that told us those things.
I talked to the sources that told me, some of the sources that told me today, and kind of tongue-in-cheek say, just wondering if you're standing behind that, because this is what I was told, and they all said, yep, same thing. Now, that it's standing behind it, and so are we. Interesting as well that I'm hearing Portland didn't receive any kind of reduced sentence. I heard that from one person today, but it's amazing that they're not, whether they did or they didn't, if Portland received some sort of reduced sentence, nobody's going to say anything about it. They're not going to say they got a draft pick back, or or the fine went from $250 to $150. Nobody's talking about this.
Yeah, I read the article Stephen Ewan wrote in the was it the Vancouver Province, and yeah, it was the secrecy kind of closed door policy, more or less. Not a lot of transparency at times with the WHL, and this is the case with the Winterhawks situation. So, that's a little tough when you want to get the whole story, and nobody from that side of it, or from the league side or the team side, is really talking.